doing a video about the MWAH effect of fretless, the kind of swell that's unique to an instrument without frets. The important thing about a fretless that you always need to keep in mind is that each fretless has its own personality. You need to approach each instrument as unique, which is why there are two others I'll use for demonstration at some point soon. A fretless needs to be warmed up, which means you basically need to get in tune with the instrument physically. You need to figure out what's going to draw the sounds you want. With a fretted instrument, it's not quite the same because it's just kind of metal strings hitting a piece of metal on the neck. With a fretless, each instrument does have a very distinct personality. And the combination of things that'll draw out that MWAH is everything from the woods that are in the instrument, or materials if you've got some synthetics, which occurs in necks, fingerboards, bodies, whatever. The construction method in this case, a bolt-on neck. Pickups, pickup placement, electronics. This is fully passive, so no preamp. But everything, the string type, the string manufacturer, string gauge, type of bridge, hardware, your hands, your touch is going to have a huge, huge, huge impact. But on a fretless, one of the big elements that people don't think about is the setup. For the way I play, for the combination of my left hand and right hand approach, I prefer a low setup, like low action. That way a lot of the real physical effort of getting the sound out, really hitting the strings hard, is taken out of the equation, so I can get more subtlety out of it. To get that MWAH, it's really, you really need to kind of coax it out of the notes. You're not really just, you need to hit it with a little more subtlety. You need to actually sort of, you can feel it, you can physically, and your fingertips, and the way the strings resonate, vibrating, you'll feel it. Now, this is an instrument with an ash body, a maple neck, one-piece maple neck, so no fingerboard. Let me demonstrate using something with a slightly different combination of woods. That bass had two pickups, a P pickup in the neck and a Nordstrand big split in the bridge, which is kind of an amped up hum canceling J in the most broad sense. This is a Scholl with mahogany body, again bolt on, maple neck. This one has Purple Heart stringer, a Pal Ferro board, and it's also got a Sapele top. This is a single dual coil pickup wired directly to the output jack, so the signal's a little hotter coming off this. Before you heard a big lush kind of sound, this one's a little more focused. And that MWAH effect is a little more intense, it's a little more immediate, it's a little, you get a lot more of the kind of upper frequency response, a lot of treble response, a lot of upper mid. But the sound of the bass is very, very different, which is everything. It's the combination of woods, but also the single pickup mounted back by the bridge, and the combination of woods. It's a very different neck profile on this. It's a two-piece, well, it's a three-piece neck, but it's actually got a separate fingerboard as opposed to a one-piece neck. So it doesn't take as much to coax this because the signal coming off the pickup, since it's going straight to the jack, there's no capacitance in there, there's no knob buffering that output. It's very hot. It's got a lot more of the kind of Jocko sort of punchiness to it, but as I'm plucking the notes, it's very different from where I played the other bass. Now, for a third example, I've got a bass with an all-mahogany body, a single passive Music Man style pickup, in this case an Nordstrand MM5.2, which is wired direct or hardwired in parallel. This one's hardwired in series, so the output's pretty aggressive on that. This just has a volume control and a tone control. Again, a bolt-on neck, maple. This has a Coca-Cola fingerboard, and the fingerboard on this is got a, I believe it's an acrylic urethane finish, so it's not actually wood. That's exposed wood. So the sound on this is going to be very different. But again, it's a type of pickup. Notice this one's also back close to the bridge, but tones rolled off pretty far on this, so if it's actually wide open, it sounds a little more in your face. These strings are something like 4 or 5 years old, so pickup's a parallel setup, it doesn't have quite the same push, it doesn't have the same output that a series pickup will. But I like the clarity that it gives. It works very well on a fretless. But again, it speaks in a very, very different way. Where you get the note kind of speaking, but the voice of the note is very different from the other two instruments. And again, it's a combination of the left hand trying to find where that voice wants to speak, kind of finessing the note, and the right hand not really digging into aggressively. I'm really just sort of hitting it where the instrument's telling me that it wants it. Now, if you move more towards the center of the instrument, you know, closer to your fretting hand, you're going to get more bass response, bigger, rounder note. As you move back, get more focus. Which is part of why I have the tone rolled back a bit. I like a little more warmth there, a little less of the treble. But you have to mess around with each fretless. Each one will tell you, if you give it a chance, how to get that sweetness out of the note. You really need to learn the kind of subtleties inherent in the instrument. Everyone has a very distinct personality and likes to be played in a different way to get that effect. So explore, take time. Hit with different strength. Hit really aggressively. Hit with a really, really, really light touch. Just barely feather the string. Play up on the neck. Play way back by the bridge. Find out what's going to work. Find out what's going to actually pull that out. So I mean, I tend to focus on that finger a lot. That's because I like to be able to roll off downward. But you also want to make sure that you can get it first finger, second finger, third finger. You want to get the same expressiveness across the board. So take time to play with it. Learn what your instrument wants. Learn how to get it. But it's like anything else. You want to build a relationship pick an instrument up and expect that it's going to happen. I've been playing this specific instrument for years. That one for a little more than a year, which is why I'm still learning it. This one I've been playing less than a year, I think only just a few months. So take time, learn your instrument. Find out where the MWAH is in your bass. It's different for every instrument. Thanks very much. This was Stu Mckinsey with ever faithful Adrian Smith on camera. Thank you to Adam Phillips at Bass Players United, and good luck with your fretless. Thanks.